Well, I'm just gonna keep reading it right off the thing and make it quite simple. Um, Hello everyone, and welcome to the Online Student Forum, sponsored by the Student Senate. My name is Sean Green, and I am the Student Senate President, and will be moderating the Q&A portion for tonight's forum. All right, someone's got to mute that, please. I don't know what that is, but thank you. Before I go any further, though, I and the rest of the Student Senate would like to thank Dr. Daniels and the rest of his cabinet members for taking time out of their schedules so they could be here to answer questions that students have regarding the upcoming fall semester. We also would like to give a big thanks to any students who are joining us in this forum tonight. After the conclusion of the Q&A portion, the Student Senate will have our formal General Assembly meeting as scheduled, for which anyone is welcome to attend. I would like to briefly explain what the Student Senate is and what it represents. To put it simply, the Student Senate advocates for their fellow students. We work alongside the faculty and administrators to help ensure that the student experience is being maintained with the highest quality standards that address all students and their specific needs. If any student is interested in joining the Student Senate, please see our website for more details and how to apply. While Dr. Daniels and his cabinet are speaking, I encourage anyone to add questions into the chat box. Any students joining us by phone will also be able to ask questions after everyone has spoken, and I will try to ask questions in the order in which they were received in the chat, but may skip some of those questions if they seem like they've already been answered. I will additionally be asking if those questions that were submitted via the survey when this invitation for this forum was sent out as well. Just a heads up that this meeting is being recorded and will be available for all students to access on the Student Senate stream channel. And just like we had in the beginning here, as a friendly reminder, please make sure that if you're always muted if you're not speaking. So before we start this Q&A, the college leaders who are here tonight will give a few remarks on the plans for fall and the current work that is being done regarding equity and anti-racism. In case we have any new Madison College students with us, could I ask that each college leader, when they speak, introduce themselves and the position they have here at the college? Now let me introduce Dr. Daniels, president of Madison College, to give his opening remarks. Dr. Daniels?
I thank you all for participating in this forum. Before we get into this presentation, I want to share that Dr. Howard Spearman, our Vice President for Student Affairs and the Chief Student Services Officer, will be leaving us to assume the presidency of Rock Valley College in Rockford, Illinois. Dr. Spearman has held many positions of increased responsibilities at Rock Valley prior to coming to us in January 2019. I thank him and I wish him well as he prepares for the next step in his career. I will be announcing leadership changes within student affairs later this month. I want to start by reviewing our mission with you. When we think about returning to campus this fall, our mission tells us that we will be an open access college, providing a quality higher education experience to focus on meeting the evolving needs of our diverse communities. Our values of excellence and respect in what we do and how we engage with one another and the community, committing ourselves as faculty, staff, and administrators to our students and their diverse communities by making higher education available to all. These statements are at the forefront of our thinking about returning to campus this fall. The cabinet and I developed principles and expectations to further guide our planning for fall during this pandemic. At the top, providing for the health and safety of all. providing for educational programming and student support services, and making sure we are physically sound today and for the future. We will be ready to pivot. The only certainty is that health conditions will evolve over the next 12 months, and we need to be prepared to pivot if those conditions require it. Finally, we will respect all of our students and one another as we engage with one another in teaching and supporting our students. These are the topics we will cover today. The first 4 points pertain to returning to campus this fall and in August. The final point represents our efforts around equity and inclusion. As we strive to provide a quality and safe learning experience for students, we have planned for a much more limited presence of students and employees on campus than we did last fall. Yes, there will be more activity on campus than there was during the final 8 weeks of spring, but again, it will not look like last fall. Faculty, their class assignments will guide what presence they need to have on campus. And I've asked that outside of their need to be in the classroom or lab, they try and otherwise limit their presence on campus and work from home. Engaging many of you and your student peers through video chat, email, or calls outside the classroom. Student affairs staff. In many of our student service areas, there will be a rotation of staff on and off site to serve students that may be on campus for class or wish to meet with a professional face-to-face. Other student affairs staff, as part of their rotation, also will serve students from home via telephone, email, or video chat. In some administrative areas, there will be a more regular and robust staffing presence on our campus: public safety, cafeteria services, custodial, and maintenance. Other administrative areas will have very limited staff presence on campus. Our expectation is that our faculty and staff will continue to support each and every single one of you and your fellow students with the same care and responsiveness that you received when you attended class and made meetings with advisors and others in person in the past. I'm going to turn it over to Tarina, our provost.
Thank you, Dr. Daniels, and let me echo a welcome to all of you on the call. And thank you, students in particular, but my peers as well, for your engagement and your resilience through all of this, and mainly for being a part of Madison College. Again, I'm Tarina Bakken. I'm the provost of the college. And what that means, for those of you that may not know, is I have leadership over all of the academic schools, credit, non-credit, international, K-12, all the deans, and thus all the faculty. So I'll be talking to you a little bit more about the academic picture this fall. You know, the fall semester, the start of a new academic year, it's exciting, it's a joyful time, and that will be the case again this fall, but it will certainly look different than it has in the past. I would like to thank the deans, the faculty, the staff in CETL, which is our faculty development area, and all of the school office teams for all of the work and effort that they've put into transforming our educational programming and course offerings from what they looked like last fall semester to what they will look like this fall semester. Is this focus on online and remote our desired state for the future? I hear sometimes, is Madison College just going to be an online college now? No. We recognize and understand that many of our students prefer and benefit from face-to-face instruction. And in fact, it's the strength of many of our faculty. We are Madison College, real world smart. We are hands-on, we build stuff. Many of the disciplines and programs we offer are most suited to in-person instruction. And yet at this time of this pandemic, we are required to adjust to our current reality, always keeping a focus on academic quality and student engagement, but above all, as you'll hear repeatedly, our care for you and the health and safety of all of us. Our faculty have focused and continue to focus on preparing your courses for the remote environment, which I can assure you will look very different than your spring experience. They've been thinking through how to cover course and program outcomes in new and engaging ways. This summer has seen intensive professional development efforts from faculty in course design, assessment, engagement strategies, and academic technology. In fact, here's an example. Last summer, we ran one section of our Preparing to Teach Online course. This summer, we ran 17 sections and served over 500 faculty. That's just one example, and I want to thank all of them for their investment this summer. As Dr. Daniels noted earlier, we know that for some of you, this remote environment is not the preferred way to learn. And I've asked that faculty reach out to you, the students, individually, early this semester. Get to know a little bit more about you and your learning style, what's on your mind, what you're worried about, how they can help you. I want you to know that we are all here for you, even as our own faculty and all of us see our lives disrupted in many ways as well. Tim, next slide, please. So what does a reimagined course offering portfolio look like? The graph that you see on your screen shows how many courses were offered in face-to-face or classroom environments, hybrid or online in the previous 3 fall terms. On average, during this period of time, nearly 80% of our courses were in person, face-to-face, 13% hybrid, and about 7% completely online. Tim? As you can see, the fall semester will look substantially different. We will have nearly 70% of our courses, 2,414 credit courses. 70% of those will be completely online, either online or online live. 25% will be hybrid, which is a mix of face-to-face and online. And just around 5% will be fully face-to-face for the entire semester. That all, of course, is pending any change to the public health conditions. Again, this does not reflect a permanent state of affairs for our course portfolio. We expect a return to a more balanced ratio as health conditions improve. However, rest assured, we are driving all of our lessons and experiences from spring 20 and summer 20 into a better fall semester. And we will continue to learn and infuse our learnings as we go forward. You can likely expect, since we're on the topic, spring of 2021 to be a mirror image of what you see on your screen. And we know that the earlier we can set our plans, the earlier you as students can make your plans, and we can minimize disruption for all. That is the goal. Tim? And lastly for me, our plan is to have most of our face-to-face instruction completed by Thanksgiving. And right now we have all but about 6% of our courses will finish up by Thanksgiving, and then finish the semester fully online. I will now turn it over to future president, Dr. Spearman, to discuss student services.
Thank you, Dr. Bakken, and thank you, Dr. Daniels, for those kind remarks. And thank you to the Student Senate for leading this effort. You know that I enjoy working with the Senate and working with students, so I will miss your professionalism. I think we have a great Student Senate and we have great student leaders, so keep up the great work. Regarding student affairs, we will continue to provide services, student affairs services or student supporting services, which you've heard Dr. Daniels and Dr. Bakken state. Specifically, we did a soft opening in the month of August for primarily new student enrollment. The services will be on a limited basis, primarily Monday through Thursday, with pre-registration and campus preferences required during sign-up. The hours vary daily to accommodate a variety of student schedules.
The facilities and service units participating in the August reopening will follow the Center for Disease Control guidelines, state county protocols, and the recommendations of the cabinet. We recognize that all students do not have internet access or a laptop at home, so we are taking a similar approach heading into the fall semester. Please know that we will continue to keep the safety of our students at the forefront of our decisions. With that said, Student Affairs will maintain a similar approach going into the fall semester from August 31st through November 20th. We will continue to provide virtual and limited in-person services to students. The services will include admissions and enrollment services, academic advising, career and employment, counseling, disability resources, financial aid, and payment center, as well as library, RISE programs, and student life. For more questions or appointments, feel free to call one of the three areas. Student Success Center, you can call them at 246-6076. You can call the library for additional questions and support at 246-6640. Of course, you can call financial aid for additional questions and support at 246-6170. For August in-person appointments, please register at madisoncollege.edu/person-service-appointments. For fall services and times, you may also go to the website at madisoncollege.edu/support-services. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard, for that. Now that you've heard a little bit about what Student Services is doing. My name is Tina, by the way, and Valentina Ido, and I'm the Dean for the Goodman South Campus. And I'm excited to be here today. So thank you for letting me come and share a little bit about with you what students can expect as we gear up for fall, not only at the Goodman South Campus, but also at our regional campuses in Reedsburg, Portage, Fort Atkinson, and Watertown. Jim Falco, who's the Vice President for our regional campuses, is not able to join us today, so I'll be sharing with you what's going on in that part of our district as well. So first, as you've heard, there's been a whole team of people working around the clock to ensure the safety and health of our students, our staffs, and our visitors. And at Goodman South, our dedicated team of custodial and public safety staff ensured that any necessary in-person instruction from the spring and summer terms was carried out in accordance with all the safety protocols that will be shared, have been shared, and they'll be shared later on in this presentation as well. We've spent the better part of July preparing our spaces, including Truex and these other campuses, to support the safety protocols that are in place during the pandemic. That means anyone who enters the building has to complete a health screening survey, wear a face covering, maintain a 6-foot physical distance from others, then sanitize or wash your hands frequently. We've de-densified furniture. I had to think about that one for a little bit. We've de-densified furniture so that while there be spaces and soft seating and computers for you to use while you're on campus, we've reduced their numbers, making it easier to adhere to these safety protocols that are in place. And while our custodial staff will deep clean overnight and then clean high-touch areas throughout the day, we are asking for your help if you're on campus and help and keeping us safe by using these widely available sanitizing wipes, and you can't miss them because they're going to be in these big white buckets all over the place. And what we ask is that you just pick a wipe, and if you're going to be at a computer, for example, you'll wipe it down before you use it, the keyboard, the mouse, the desk, do your thing. When you're done, grab another wipe down your space, your keyboard, the printer, if you printed something out, and off you go. So in doing those kinds of things, you're going to help keep all of us safe. So for the soft opening in August, we are serving students by appointment, as you heard Dr. Spearman say. And it really is the focus of this time is to help students get their fall semester class enrollment questions or issues resolved. So during this time, we'll also be distributing laptops or hotspots as students need them for the duration of their course or semester. And we're also working with the bookstore on curbside pickup for textbooks. And then once class starts, well, a majority of the classes will be remote, as Provost Bakken has indicated. Our administrative staff, so those people that sit at the service desk that can help you, we're a one-stop shop at Truex, at Goodman South, just like we are at the regionals. So we'll be able to help you with enrollment and tuition payment and your one card and all those kinds of things. That administrative staff will be on campus on a limited basis, like Dr. Spearman indicated, but we'll be there to assist students or staff who might have a need. And then the food pantry will also begin distribution once school starts via curbside pickup. So students, of course, can always call or email us if they have questions, because we'll be available virtually as well. So either way, if you need us in person or virtually, just reach out, okay? And then at the regional campuses, Jim indicates that they also did the soft opening beginning Monday. And as they've started to welcome students back on campus, it also is by appointment. And they're tapping into services like testing, placement testing, academic advising, the one cards, tuition payments, textbook distributions. And we've taken at the regionals, same thing, all the necessary precautions to make sure that we can serve people safely and our staff and students can be safe as we transition back to face-to-face business, even on a limited basis. So as students approach the campus, you're going to see new signs reinforcing those health protocols that we just talked about. They'll see plexiglass shields in front of the welcome areas, the greater distance between computers, the fewer open areas for students to gather and socialize, the hand sanitizing stations. So basically what you'll see at Truex, it's going to be mirrored out at all the other campuses as well. And I think the biggest news for the regionals is on the technology front. So new laptops and hotspots are available for students at the regional campuses. And in particular for the hotspots, they've now made available US Cellular service hotspots. And these have gotten great reviews from the students that have used them over the last few weeks. The Sprint hotspots that they had been assigned in the past just didn't work really well in the regional areas. So with this upgrade, this addition to the US Cellular, that has just made access that much better. In addition to that, they've expanded the Wi-Fi signal strength outside each of the campuses, and that's true at Truex, it's true at Goodman. You can come pull up in your car and you can access additional Wi-Fi in the parking lots. But in addition to that, at the regionals, they're in the process of working to secure cellular signal booster systems for each campus. So once those are installed, students and staff should begin to receive greater signal strength in and around the regional campus. So you're not going to be bound to that one parking lot anymore. So Jim expects that technology upgrade is going to begin later this fall. So we can all look forward to that. And lastly, all the regional staff and faculty are excited to welcome back students to the campus. It's so nice to see you. You don't even know. And we expect to have a safe and productive fall semester. And we wish you all the best for that semester and just really welcome back. So thank you. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Thomas to talk a little bit more about the college's soft opening and health and safety measures.
Thank you, Tina. Hello, happy to be back with our excellent student leaders once again. Always a pleasure. I'm Dr. Mark Thomas. I'm the Vice President of Finance Administration for the college, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the college is managing access to our facilities, what our guidelines and expectations are, and all the things that we're going to do to make sure it's safe for those who need to return to campus can do so. Some of what I'm going to share with you will be a repeat of many of the things you've already heard from my colleagues tonight, particularly a lot of things that Tina just went over about the regional campuses in Goodman South, hold true for the Truex campus as well. I think it's really important to ensure you get all the information you need. So you may hear it again from someone else after me as well. As you've heard beginning this week, college facilities across the district, Truex, Goodman South, Reedsburg, Portage, Fort Atkinson, Watertown will all be open in a limited way to serve students and families that wish to register for fall semester courses. We know that for many of our students and families, particularly those that are first generation, myself, like I was, or students of color, that talking to staff in person gives them the confidence to proceed with registering for classes. And at the same time, as you've heard already, we'll also have staff available from registration, testing, counseling, advising, financial aid to support students. As you've heard, we're not doing this on a walk-in basis. We do ask that you and your fellow students make appointments as part of our efforts to manage physical distancing, but those services will be available. All students and staff entering the facility will be required to enter designated entrances and to complete an electronic health check survey. Doing that survey within 1 to 3 hours before arriving at the facility, and in just a moment, I'll discuss that in a little more detail. Next slide. And so with the health and safety at the forefront of our minds and planning for what the return to campus will look like this fall, again, we'll be following practices that are equal to, and in many cases, in some locations of our district, more stringent than guidance or orders provided by local public health authorities. The district is across 12 separate counties, and each of them have their own public health entity. And so the college is following the strictest of those guidelines at all of our campuses, regardless of what the local ordinance is. We are stricter than, as strict or stricter than all of those. And these practices are about you and your health, as well as about protecting faculty and staff's health. And here at the college, it's often said we're all in this together, and a pandemic brings that truer than ever right in our face. We are globally all in this together. As you enter the facilities, again, you'll be required to complete a COVID health screener on your mobile phone. The screening survey is a series of about a dozen questions about your health, and it's available on our website, as well as being posted at the designated entrances to our facilities. So there's a sign, has a QR code, you punch your phone camera at it, and it pops up the survey. A college staff person will check to verify that you completed the screener successfully. And for those without a mobile device, the folks at the door will also be able to manually go through that same questionnaire with you and see if you can successfully complete it to enter. Only those who have successfully completed the survey will be able to access the facility. Successful completion gives you a big green check mark. It looks like this. It has the current day's date on it. And that, along with a facial covering, is what gets you access to any of our facilities. Next slide. So once you pass into the facility's entrances, folks talked about this before, there are new behavioral expectations of our students, staff, and any contracted service workers who come to campus. We are not generally allowing the general public to come onto campus. It's only employees, students, and again, folks who may have contract business, construction workers, things like that. But there's no general public access. First, cloth face coverings are required to be worn by anyone coming in the building. Teaching and learning in the classroom and in labs, visiting with student service professionals, or otherwise interacting with one another in any of the buildings. Again, regardless of what local health departments require or not, as of right now, it is a statewide mandate in Wisconsin. However, that could change. At this time, we anticipate continuing to have a cloth face covering requirement regardless of that. Second, we ask that you stay 6 to 8 feet away from other people, just as we've learned to do everywhere, grocery stores and department stores. Next slide. Third, as you move around the facility, we'll ask that you keep to the right when using stairwells. There are wolf tracks that look like this decal on the right side of your screen. We are the wolf pack, after all. Wolfie is our mascot. There'll be wolf tracks in the stairwells to help guide you, keep direction signage. And one other thing you'll notice is through all these slides, the consistency in the messaging. So when you look at these slides, and you'll see in the next slide, you know that this is Madison College's COVID prevention and guideline materials. So it doesn't actually look awful when you go through the building either. Fourth, we will permit only 2 people to ride in an elevator at a time to manage physical distancing in the elevators. This is posted on all the elevator doors. Fifth, in restrooms, you'll see signs explaining why certain faucets may be turned off as we try and maintain physical distancing in our restrooms. In addition, drinking fountains, the spout is shut off for hygiene reasons, but the touchless water spouts for filling a water bottle, those will remain operational. So bring your own water bottle to stay hydrated. Next slide. And then finally, throughout the district, at each and every campus, as I mentioned, you'll see posters and video screens with images such as these. Again, it's very clear and consistent, sort of the branding and messaging, reminding each of us of the things to do to protect our individual health and community health. Of course, again, it's wearing face coverings, washing your hands frequently, maintaining social distancing, and staying home or going home if you feel sick. There's policy requiring students to adhere to these practices as well, just as there is for employees. Slide, please. So then, in addition to the signage across all college facilities, there will be other changes, as others have mentioned. In our service desk areas, more than 130 areas across the district, wherever there's a customer service interaction or a transaction over a countertop, there are plexiglass barriers to protect college staff and students. We'll also use mobile plexiglass partitions where necessary and appropriate to protect college staff and students. As Tina mentioned, we've also begun removing some of that furniture and cordoning off certain gathering areas to better manage physical distancing. We're continuing to follow cleaning protocols and recommended cleaning materials, agents set by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and local health authorities. Additionally, we've made adjustments to our air handling systems in line with federal guidance to improve our system's ability to clean our internal air. As you also heard earlier, each classroom and high-use area will also have a disinfectant station so that users can clean equipment and other surfaces before and after their own use. And then, as mentioned earlier, throughout the day, custodial staff will clean high-touch surfaces, buttons, railings, door handles, doorknobs, push bars, etc. Anything that many people are touching many times. They're literally continually going throughout the buildings and and deep clean will be done at midday as well as at night. Most of our conference rooms or meeting spaces are not well designed for physical distancing. That picture on the right sort of demonstrates that. Of course, they also don't have masks on. And so, as such, we'll be limiting the number of people in those rooms to either 6 or less, depending on the room size. So that's for meeting and conference rooms. Classrooms are a different story. They're larger, they have their own capacity that exceeds 6. But for meeting rooms and conference rooms, 6 is the limit, or less if the room is even smaller. And again, unlike the picture meeting, participants are required to wear masks at all times. And then in terms of communicating all of this, in addition to having this meeting recorded and available, all of this is posted on the COVID-19 section of the website. And just this afternoon, we posted a video of a student walking through campus, giving a sneak preview of how campuses will look, pointing out many of the measures that all of us have just gone over. So in addition to that recording, you'll always be able to access the most current information on the college's website. And with that, I'll turn it back to Dr. Daniels.
Equity, inclusion, and anti-racism. This quote is attributed to me, but it is not solely about me. It is about the responsibility that we have to take action on the issue of race. Can everybody hear me clearly?
No, if
Because I'm getting some backup and I can't.
I found the issue, so should be good to go.
Okay. As I was saying, it is about the responsibility that each of us has to take action on the issues of race if we're going to truly embrace equity and inclusion. And if we're going to be successful in achieving the mission of this college of providing access to quality education, of supporting all students with their success, of committing ourselves to serve the needs of our diverse communities. I want to share with you that our Board of Trustees is committed to having Madison College be an inclusive and welcoming campus. In July, the board adopted a resolution denouncing systemic racism and affirming its commitment to Black students and all students of color, and reaffirming our mission as a college that is to serve the evolving needs of our diverse communities. As a cabinet, we have spent considerable time in the past several weeks discussing issues of equity and inclusion, as well as anti-racism and what it means to be an anti-racist. Each member of the cabinet has made the sincere and significant effort to understand, better understand, issues of the history of racism, of privilege, of diversity, and of who each of us are and what our experiences have been. The conversations we have started, will continue. They will strengthen us as a team and assist us with thinking about how we will evolve as an institution, how we will grow our capacity to become a more equitable and inclusive institution, how we will learn to practice anti-racism in how we teach, serve our students, and serve our communities and one another. We have identified some initial actions to move us in the direction of becoming a more equitable and inclusive campus. I'm going to have Lucia Nunez, Vice President of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement, discuss some of these efforts. Lucia?
Thank you very much, Dr. Daniels, and thank you, President Sean Green and the Student Senate for inviting us and for being here. When I started this, again, my name is Lucia Nunez. I'm Vice President of Equity and Inclusion, and I'm so glad we started with respect and the evolving needs of our diverse communities. Right there in the mission, vision, and values of this institution, we need to keep that in mind, especially as we're facing not just one pandemic, but multiple pandemics, and we need to think about and make sure that all of our students, all of our employees feel like they're respected and welcomed at Madison College. These are difficult times. I wish I was there in person. I wish I was seeing you and being with you, but we're flexible. The good part is that maybe more can participate in this forum. So thank you very much. I want to share some of the things that we're working on, some of the planning and actions we're taking to advance equity at Madison College. First of all, we're developing, as we speak, the Equity and Inclusion Plan for 2020-2023. Like Dr. Daniels said, we've done a lot of work, both personally at each cabinet member level, to then taking that work to our employees. The last one we did was in 2016, and it's time we updated. And there's been so much that's happened that we need to make sure that we are including. We'll be hiring an academic diversity officer that will be working alongside to really think about how to push equity all the way down throughout our campus. We will be planning the fall and spring climate and culture events. Although virtual, we'll definitely be planning a number of speakers. Stay tuned. We'll be sending out some save the dates pretty soon. We've been collaborating with Student Life, and we'll have a couple of other collaborations that are coming, including a summit that will be later this in September. And then in addition, we'll be developing new trainings on microaggressions and continuing and revamping some of the trainings that we have on implicit bias. Next slide. In addition, we are looking at thinking about hiring and advancement. We're looking at hiring committees and making sure there's a person of color for each committee on each committee so that we'll make sure that we have balanced interview panels. We'll develop a pool of interviewers for faculty, PSRP, and administrators. The pools will be inclusive of people of color and other underrepresented populations. In addition, for committees such as the Faculty Advancement Committee, we'll also be looking to make sure that there's a person of color serving on each one of those committees. Next, please. And then in shared governance, you know that we have councils from the Diversity Council, that's our picture, to facilities, to there's so many councils. We will also make sure that every council has a minimum of one person of color. Next slide. Oh, we're at the questions already.
We'll now open it up for questions. And joining me will be other members of the cabinet. I think Dr. Casper was not initially being seen because he was actually doing the PowerPoint. President Green, I will turn it over to you and facilitate the questions.
All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start from the top here and go. It seems like a slide was missed about travel and athletics. Could you share the plans for restrictions for those activities?
Tim, can you that slide? All right, thank you. So as of right now, when it comes to athletics, we have no athletic events or competition, I should say, for the fall semester. For fall 2020, athletics will be able to practice, they'll be able to use the facility in the fall semester, but there will be no competition until the spring semester. Any additional questions regarding athletics?
I want to clarify. And the clarification is that we're going to take another look at the end of October, the 1st of November, if in fact we will have competitive athletics in the spring term. It is not a guarantee.
All right, thank you. Next question I have is, are the classes capacities increased due to classes being held online?
I can take that one, Sean. It depends. All of our, let me start by saying that all 225, I believe, learning spaces across the district that will be used for hybrid, any in-person component, have been completely reorganized based on social distancing and other health considerations. Online courses really range. It depends where you are in the college and what program you're in, but we've done national research looking at correlations between class size and student success. What you'll find in most cases is online courses somewhere in the 20 to 30 range, depending on the program and depending on the area.
Awesome, thank you. Is the health clinic open, or when will it be open?
Yes, students do have access to the GHC, and they could connect with them and have appointments right now.
How will higher traffic program of 24 students coming in at the same time be monitored prior to entering the building? Will there be signs directing traffic from the parking lot to the entrance? Will there be staggered start times to limit how many classes start at the same time?
Mark. I'll take that one. It's maybe,
You want to take that, Mark?
maybe a combo of me and Tarina, but yeah, I'll take that one. So in terms of, think of the sheer number of classes that are not occurring face to face. There's a very, very limited number of students actually coming to campus, and that's one. We're eliminating a lot of that. Number two, each entrance that folks can enter is monitored by someone from public safety or at some of the other schools and some of the regional campuses that may be localized staff in that building. At each point, folks will be at the entryway and reinforcing with folks to stay 6 to 8 feet apart. And so we're going to have to work with that and see how that goes the first few weeks. We are looking at other options of having what you call them, sort of the barriers you have at the bank or waiting for a roller coaster or something like that outside to help corral folks more. But we're going to be flexible and be able to adapt to that. But again, I think the sheer number of classes that are not occurring face to face is really going to reduce that. At the smaller campuses, there's already a small number of folks, and even smaller, that's much more manageable. At the Truax main building, we'll be counting on folks at the door, helping folks queue, as well as having a couple of different entrances, one at the main gateway entrance and then one at the back, sort of atrium entrance near the cafeteria, as if you're familiar with the building already. So smaller number of folks coming to the building, multiple entrances, and then staffed entrances to help control the crowd. And Tarina, I don't know if you want to add anything about class stay or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah, and again, I just want to reiterate that 70% of our courses are fully remote. So of the 2,414 credit courses, about 702, if I remember right, have some face-to-face component. That's spread at 9 campuses across the district. If my memory serves me right, 399 of those are at the Truax campus. And so you get a sense, 399 in-person components, hybrid courses across the entire portfolio is very few courses going on at the same time. And then, as I mentioned, all class sizes have been modified with new caps for social distance protocols. So that combined with Mark's comments, I think, give you a picture of what to expect.
Awesome, thank you. What adaptations are available for classes that take into account a student's learning style, examples being auditory, visual, tactile, etc.?
I'll give a shot at that one. Yeah, I think that question can be also overlaid with different faculty preferences and strengths, and even for all of us. I'm a very hands-on visual person, and I'm living in this world just like you guys are. So I think what we've tried to do with all of our instruction, as I said, we have poured resources into quality engagement practices, assessment innovations, academic technology, all designed to strengthen the remote student learning experience and make it as engaging as possible. As I mentioned before, we're a college, we're a hands-on college, we build things. And so through the hybrid courses, especially in healthcare, manufacturing, sciences, EMS, those hybrid courses have been designed also really to consider what needs to be done and must be done in a face-to-face format, and then how can we engage people in the best way in a remote environment. It's not ideal, it's not a vision of what our whole future is going to look like, but I'm really confident and proud of the work that's been done to get ready for fall.
And let me add that we still have the tutoring, the Student Academic Achievement Center available to help with the different learning styles as well. So Dr. Bakken mentioned inside the classroom, but you still have those student services outside the classroom that will be able to support students. Library will help the student navigate those different learning platforms as well.
Awesome. Next one. How will parking change, and when will the shuttle still run?
Well, regarding the shuttle, SAB have voted to reduce the commuter fee because they were also eliminating the shuttle services. So we'll have limited shuttle services, but there are ride share that you'll be able to still use. And we'll have that on the Student Life website as well.
And I anticipate that parking will definitely change. It will be better with so many fewer students and employees coming to campus. That will be the only significant change. I just think it's going to be a lot easier to find parking. Um, an ironic positive to all of this.
Okay, next, how can I figure out if any of my classes will require an in-person component?
Anything that when you register, and I saw my colleague Kelly Schulte from our academic hub is on the line, but when you register, you'll have online live, hybrid. If it's a hybrid course, the meeting pattern will be made very clear. So you'll know what portion of the course is going to be remote, online, and which portion of the course you'll have to come on campus for. If your course is online or online live, you won't come on campus at all. You'll engage in a remote forum, or if it's online live, you'll engage with the course at the meeting time that was indicated in the course setup.
Cool. For online classes, this one just got answered, never mind. What will I need an appointment for if I want to access services on campus? Are there offices where I can just walk in and get help?
And that's part of what I discussed earlier, that there will be limited uh, in-person hours for students. And we will be looking at primarily a Monday to Thursday schedule in 4-hour increments for in-person, and they'll be set up at different times per day so that we can meet the various needs of students. However, virtually will still be accessible during our traditional timeframes as well. And you have those websites in your chat. So we're still available virtually for all the student affairs, student services, like we have been since March. For the fall semester, you will have limited in-person hours and availability that you would be able to use. We ask that you try to schedule those appointments in advance and not just do a walk-in service for those opportunities.
Awesome. What protocols are in place to assist students that are food, housing, and medication insecure due to the pandemic and no employment?
What protocols do we have for food, housing, medication, and
Um, Food, housing, and medication insecure.
insecurity? Okay. So we'll have our food pantry available. It will be available uh, on all the campuses, so students will still have access to that. Housing, I believe you already know with Student Senate, and Student Senate has a housing initiative that they're working on to try to provide opportunities through with Student Life. And so we'll be working on that as well. And Mark, maybe you want to talk about what our food options will be on campus outside of just simply the food pantry itself.
Sure. So, can everyone hear me now? Yeah, so we will have food services open at the cafeterias at Goodman South as well as at the main campus. We're going to see how foot traffic is the first few weeks. We do plan on having minimally the Starbucks coffee shop and the station that's in the health building, as well as the main cafeteria, the main building open, and the cafeteria, like I said, at Goodman South. Those are the only locations that have food services. The other locations all do have vending options, and several of them also have coffee machine options. All those will be operational and stocked. And again, as the semester goes on, we will adjust the offerings to get fresh food on campus at Goodman South as well as the KX campus.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Now, also, Sean, you mentioned medication, but we don't provide the medication as far as student service and student affairs are concerned. So that piece, this relationship you would have with your doctor, and if you decide to use GHC. Now, mental health services, our counseling team will help with limited temporary support regarding mental health and provide you with the accurate referrals within the community for long-term support.
Awesome. Thank you. Going down the list, due to, well, what what is the process to request textbook rental waivers for fall 2020? Yeah, I didn't write these things, so I don't know that. But I can repeat that question again if that.
I heard the question. I'm not 100% sure I understand it. If someone's asking about waiving out of the rental program, if they're asking about the cost of textbooks overall. If they're asking about waiving out of the rental program, still have the ability to do that, you would do that in the bookstore, contact the bookstore, and understand what the process is for that.
Okay. Then let's go with this one. Will the library be open for safe studying? I worry about spaces to study in because I live in a small apartment with 6 other family members.
At this juncture, the library is planning to offer limited study space at campuses, with the exception of Portage, beginning August 31st. To keep all students and staff safe, study times will be made by appointment only, Monday through Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Seating will be assigned, and appointments will be in 45-minute increments per day per student. Students will be required to wear a mask at all times and socially distance. More details will be shared as we move through the month of August.
All right, thank you. Is there a plan for future purchasing of laptops? It is great that we are able to borrow them now, but looking long term, what are plans for future options?
This is Tim Casper. I'm the Vice President of Institutional Learning and Effectiveness. Good afternoon, everyone. At present, we have a team led by our Chief Information Officer, working with representatives from Academic Affairs, Student Affairs, and a representative of the Student Senate to find out a more long-term plan for how we will provide technology to students in the future. Our efforts in the spring term were very obviously spur of the moment as we worked to support each of you as you move to that remote learning environment. We had more lead time to plan for this fall, and we've heard from colleagues about the availability of laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots this fall, but we are seeking to develop a more permanent ongoing solution to those needs of students. And we are hoping to have from that team a recommendation by the end of this calendar year so that we can consider implementation. I don't know if it will be something we can implement for the spring term, but by fall of 21, hopefully we'll be in position to put in place a more permanent solution.
Awesome. Will there be reduced costs for online classes considering students won't have the in-class option for them?
Regarding, let's see, there would be reduced costs. There's specific costs that we have regarding online classes. That's a WTCS function that we still have to have. So The only reduced costs that we really will have would be based on the commuter fee, the student fees for the reduced costs that SAB required for a fitness center, but not specifically for tuition on online classes.
All right. Due to so many students being negatively impacted by the pandemic, many are unable to settle their spring 2020 balance before school resumes. What resources are available to assist these students?
Well, first we have what we call the CARES, or sometimes students hear as emergency grants, but we have CARES dollars that we use. Now, for the fall semester, we're looking at the college providing $850 technology grants for financial aid students who have zero EFC. And that's one way that we are still supporting. You still will have the CARES grant dollars that you can also apply for, that is working through our financial aid office, but given through our foundation.
All right.
If I can just add to that quick, Sean. In terms of allowing students to enroll in fall, students will lifting holds for students who have a balance for summer and prior spring through September 18th. So students will still be able to enroll for fall semester. Typically there'll be a hold and you couldn't do that. And we tried to push those dates back and relieve that barrier to enrollment.
Thank you. Will there be any way to submit concerns pertaining to an instructor's handling of the online format? I'm just a little concerned about instructors not giving enough attention to students or giving assessments that don't align well with the online content.
Sure, I can take that one. Let me answer the second part of that first and just reiterate the immense amount of professional development and investment that we have made in online quality and engagement since the emergency remote instruction conditions of the spring. Not only have 500, as I mentioned before, 500 faculty taken preparing to teach online, but we've run a multitude and a whole deep array of sections on academic technology. We're bringing in 3 additional non-instructional faculty through the CARES funding to support faculty in creating better online experiences and a whole host of other investments. So is it a perfect science across every instructor in all courses? No. But I know that you'll see a much better product, so to speak. In terms of your concerns about any course, about anything, honestly, my recommendation for you as students, if you are struggling in any of your courses, is to first approach the instructor. Be honest with them about what you're struggling with, what you need, what's working for you, what's not. I would go to the faculty first. We have, as you know, faculty that have been teaching online for 20 years. And we have other faculty who are experiencing this for the very first time, just like you are. So have a conversation with them first about, what might work better. Secondly, you can always contact the dean of your particular school. And if at any time as students, you have an issue with a class, a faculty, and you really don't know where to go or where to start, you can contact me directly. And I am very happy to have a conversation with you and or get you to the right person to be heard. And I want to reiterate that it's really important that if something's not working for you, speak up, encourage your peers to speak up, because we don't know what we don't know. And as we've all collectively said, we're here to do the best we can in a very crazy world for all of you. So.
Thank you. Just got one. If I already received CARES funding, can I apply again?
Yes, typically CARES is per term. However, we're changing up how we're doing the CARES for the fall semester, looking at the technology dollars for the students under financial aid. But if you receive CARES for the spring, you are eligible to receive CARES for the summer.
Awesome. Okay, and these next two are, what restrictions are there on what student clubs can do this fall?
Student clubs re-register every fall semester, so we anticipate that they will still be active, and Student Life will support them with navigating new formats to meet and plan virtual activities. We are encouraging students to minimize the amount of time they spend on campus. Student club meetings can be no more than 6 people, and you must social distance. So we're encouraging the virtual meetings. If you have members that are already on campus, we recommend that you consider meeting both on-site for those who are already on campus and virtual for those who don't need to come to campus. All other events and activities will be virtual until further notice. Again, Student Life will be providing support for clubs to still engage with students and accomplish their goals.
All right. And almost feel like I shouldn't even ask this next one because I feel like but it's kind of slightly different. Will there be campus jobs for students?
Yes, work study and student help positions will still be available for the fall semester. However, we suspect there may be fewer opportunities than most fall terms, and or some student employment positions will be done remotely. As of July 31st, there are 5 student employment opportunities posted on Wisconsin Tech Connect. We will transition to a new job posting tool called Handshake, which offers many enhanced features and an application, single sign-on, online application, etc., for students on September 1st. Please connect with Career and Employment Services if you need any job search assistance.
Thank you. I don't know who else might be on a phone right now. And like I said earlier in the beginning, I would give those people a chance to speak. So I'm going to give like a 10-second pause. If there are any questions, you can speak up now and ask those questions before I continue on with the more questions that are need to be asked. So I'll give it about a good 10, 15 seconds here, okay? And talk about an awkward 10 to 15 seconds, right? But we're waiting though. Someone might be on the line, you know?
I think we had one call in person and they're not on the line anymore. So I think we're good to go.
All right, continuing on. Is the no credit option going to continue in the fall?
Yes, the credit, no credit grading option will be offered again for the fall. More details will be available in later on this month and can be found at madisoncollege.edu/credit dash no credit /fall 2020.
Thank you. What are some tips for making the transition from normal schooling to online college as smooth as possible? I am a first-year college student this year, so online school this year is pretty stressful. I feel as though I will be behind slash out of the loop on everything campus wise slash in general since I will not have any in-person classes. I feel like this will cause me to have a lack of knowledge in everything going on at campus.
I can start that. I guess I would say, first of all, I think you're selling yourself short, whoever asked that question. I think you'll amaze yourself at how well you're going to do and the support systems and academic experience that we're going to wrap around you. So you can do it. I did post several links in, I'm sorry, I'm so hungry, I'm starving. I posted several links in the chat. We have a ton of resources, online resources, student success strategies. I know Julie Goris is on the line from our great library team. They're hosting a digital backpack series, which is a whole series of short, easily graspable online workshops to help you get the feel for online learning and the basics. And that site was also posted out there. And, regarding staying in the loop while the college is more remote than usual, we have several ways to communicate with students, including the website, Wolfpack Connect, email. Student Life is still going to go on. I talked last week with the Clarion, and the Clarion's still going to be around. So, it's going to feel a little bit different, but I think you'll still find lots of interesting ways to stay connected. And Howard, I don't know if you have anything else to add about the amazing wraparound services.
Well, I would always say, in preparation for the fall semester or for the term that you're going into, read your syllabus. Make sure you read the syllabus, understand the expectations when you get those, and go over it or ask questions to your faculty member. But you can also go and work with your academic engagement partners as well through the Library Student Achievement Center to go over it and help you develop a study plan. Sometimes when you study the best. If you're a person that studies better in the morning or a person that studies better in the evening. Build that plan now, and then if you can, build your work schedule around your study habits and your school. Typically, students make the mistake of building everything around their work schedule, but then they burn out 6 to 8 weeks in. So try not to do that if you can't afford to.
Awesome. Thank you. Just a few more here, and then we should be pretty much wrapped up. Will all the online courses be posted on Blackboard?
Yes, Blackboard is our learning management system.
Okay, I'm just going to add to that slightly and say, what about Slack? I know personally, I have a instructor who wants us to only use Slack, and that's how he wants us to communicate directly with him. I'm saying this on a personal level. I don't want to have to use it, and instead I have to install it on my phone and all this because that's how he wants to communicate with everybody. And I just think it's another program that we don't need because Blackboard is the program, So that's I didn't ask that question, but I'm just adding that little bit to it. Okay, so next question. What if the campus opens up with health and safety regulations, but students are still uncomfortable with attending campus for classes?
I would say I'll start, maybe Howard can jump in. In cases where there's an in-person course or there's an in-person component required, but a student can't attend for whatever reason, what I would recommend is see an advisor, and they can help work around an all online schedule or an all virtual schedule for you. Our hope is to find alternatives and not put any student in a situation that they're not comfortable in being in. We're hoping to have virtual options, but at some point, depending on your program, if it's healthcare or manufacturing or diesel or barber cause or culinary, there still are required hands-on face-to-face components as a part of many of our programs. So for you, depending on the program, depending on the situation, for fall, I'm sure we can get a virtual option built for you at some point. We'll have to figure out how to get you through the program, however.
And if you're already in the semester and classes are going and you're now uncomfortable, you need to talk to your faculty member regarding that. If for some reason you feel like you're sick, then we have protocols in place and we don't want you to come to campus if you're feeling sick or have any of the symptoms, COVID-related symptoms. So we don't want you to all of a sudden push through and say, you know what, I can get over this. I'm going to go to campus anyway. No, do not come to campus. Do not go to class. And we would prefer that you quarantine yourself and got tested, and then you can report that out to the Dean of Students for additional support. And they can also inform your faculty member if that's the situation.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like this will be about the last question. What will the school be doing that is new to address the needs of students of color, especially Black students this year?
Just want to see if Lucia was on to address that first, and then I could add to it if you're still on, Lucia.
Sorry, didn't have the microphone. Yes, I'm still on. We'll be having some climate and culture programming that is geared completely toward Black students and Black employees as well. Again, I don't want to give any until we confirm our speaker for the fall, but as soon as we have a confirmation and a date, we'll be sending that out. In addition, we'll be doing some deeper trainings for all levels of employees to think about how to work with Black students, how to think about the experience of Black individuals in our community, especially given what is happening in our country at this point.
And I'll also add that this is not the first time that we're engaging our Black students or students of color. Last year, we implemented a pilot program called Men of Excellence, focusing on Black or African American males as well as Latinx males, and working with them, engaging them, help them to be successful throughout the year. We have other programs under RISE that we work with students of color and helping them to be successful throughout campus. So we'll continue to work on those programs around persistence, enrollment, retention, and completion, as well as the student engagement series that we were doing this summer. And we'll continue to move forward down that path for the fall semester. Also throughout the summer, we contacted Black students just to see how they're feeling, check in with them regarding our racial inequity throughout the community. And we wanted to engage them and let them know we were there, and we contacted several other students as well. That was a campus-wide effort, and we appreciate those that have helped out with that. And the students who did respond appreciated the fact that we reached out to them for one of those, what we call our Madison College Wellness Check.
I think it's also important to understand that we've gone through a lot of conversations and discussions and how we become more sensitized to Black students and students of color. Part of this is about communication. And how do we communicate and engage our students so that we know more about what those needs are, what those barriers are, as well as what those joys are. I would also ask that students, Black students, find a way to become more active in the governance of the institution. And as I think about the governance, I think about committees. I think about a strong portion of the Student Senate. I think about other areas from which you can have a great deal of input that focuses on your needs, that we can then look at what are the institutional needs and what interventions that we need to make, so that your experience here at Madison College is one that you can say it was a very good experience. I've got a lot for what it was offered me, and I could recommend the college to anyone. So it is about the engagement with you and understanding all of the issues that you are bringing or that are being brought, and how we can better serve you.
Awesome, thank you. So that's all the questions. I do see that there were a lot of links posted in the chat. We will make sure that those links are provided with the this video that's being recorded right now when it's posted up on the Student Senate stream as useful additional resources. So that really does conclude this student forum. I just would like to pass it off to Dr. Daniels for any last remarks before the Student Senate starts its General Assembly.
President Green, thank you very much. And thank everyone who's attended. And if there are further questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask those questions of any of us or any of the staff who are at the college. Again, we began our planning focused on the mission of providing accessible and quality instruction to our students and residents of the college district. Layered over our mission were principles to drive planning in the remote environment, which includes a focus on the health and safety of each of us as individuals and as a community. In addition to this work related to the start of the semester, it is our work that we will be pursuing around equity and inclusion and developing anti-racist practices at our college. I want to thank again each of you for participating in this forum today, for the work and effort you are putting into preparing our campus for the fall semester. It will be the most different fall semester that I've ever experienced in all of my years as an educator. But what will not change is the commitment each of us brings to engaging you, the students, supporting you with achieving your dreams of getting that next job or transferring on to a four-year institution. And I do know with certainty that come next May, we will have hundreds of students graduating from Madison College, in person or remotely. Many, many of our students will have completed their journey with us. Again, I thank President Green and the members of the Senate for creating this forum, and I know we'll be doing it again in the future.